There are a lot of colors going on right now. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about magic with distractions. I work from home. My husband also works from home. We have 2 dogs, 2 cats, a tortoise, some fish, and a 3-year-old. So there are a lot of things going on in my house at all times. There's pee happening on several different levels, animals having to go outside, animals needing a walk. And our tortoise is free roaming, so we have to watch out for him every once in a while when we're on the 2nd floor. Lots of things going on. And it can be hard to find time to sit down and meditate or sit down and work on some magic or whatever you want to do where you need quiet time or to be in your personal spiritual space. My biggest suggestion for this, for anyone who is like super busy, doesn't have time to do anything, super elaborate, or you have a super hectic lifestyle, you have to go to work, you have to come home, cook dinner for everybody, make sure everyone is fed, clothed, washed, satisfied with life. My best practice is to have a permanent altar or several permanent altars in your home. Step 1 for anyone with animals or kids, your permanent altar is going to have to be up high where they can't touch it because they're going to touch it. Up high is always best. So I figured I had to redo or clean off my self-love altar today, so I thought I would do that with you guys and just do a little walkthrough of what it looks like and talk about how you can work with a permanent altar. So let's do it. The sun. It's time for the sun to be out. So it's all glary McGlarison, but whatever. We love you, sun. Thank you. So I have this. Let me show you. So I have this hutch situation here. I got this at a yard sale for $15, and I do put 2 permanent altars on it, one at the bottom, one at the top. So right now we are working on the one at the top, which is my self-love and healing altar. Yes, my sweet. So, and I decided just to let all the distractions just happen during this video so you can hear. My dog in the background, she's upset. My son is here on the floor. He's calling my name for no reason. So when you're setting up any space, of course, you're going to cleanse that space first. Especially when you're setting up a new sacred space, you just want to make sure it's clean and ready for the new energy to come in. I'm using Palo Santo here. I have this star here just because I think it's beautiful and it has a little bell. And I do have, I don't know if you can see, a love angel hanging that I made for myself a little while ago. Has a really cute little prayer on the back, if you can see it. And I wrapped a rose quartz and stuck it there, and I made a tassel because I love tassels. So then I go ahead and just fill the space with crystals that have to do with the purpose of this spiritual area. And like I said, self-love and healing, so those are all the crystals I'm going to put on here. I have some celestite and some rose quartz. You do have to be careful when putting crystals in the area where it's hitting direct sunlight because sun does fade some crystals, and some other ones also will be affected by the light or the heat, so just be careful. Basically, just play around with the idea of where you want things to go. It doesn't have to be in any sort of order unless you feel like it has to. I do already have a few candles that I have dressed for this occasion. Now, I did have this altar set up a little busier before, and I wanted to kind of chill it out and make it a little less, busy. I do put my cherry wood wand up here if I'm directing any energy. Cherry wood is a wonderful wood to use for love. I have here some rose incense. And a lot of people like to keep something going at all times on their altars, so either a candle that's going towards a purpose, or incense for when you are praying or doing spell work. A lovely, sorry, I have a lovely copper orb that goes right here. This is a super unflattering angle for my face, look like a camel, but I love camels, so I don't care. I'm going to leave a space open here for some oracle cards. Oracle cards are really great to pull a card every day just to give your day a little bit of direction or to set the tone for the day, and I really like drawing one. So I am putting my Kuan Yin deck on here. I have a large piece of selenite on a lot of my altars as well, just to keep all the crystals that are on there charged. cleansed and charged, kind of like a filter for everything that's flowing through here. Some clear quartz also on my spaces just to keep the energy really high in my area. Now, if there's anything that you want to say or write to put on your altar, you can actually put it in any of these spaces. Just something to remind you of what the space is for and what energy it's provoking. And I did make for myself a little self-love bath salt blend. So I'm pouring it into a small vessel. I'm placing this on my altar just to keep the blend charged and cleared for its purpose on here. Or anything that you're taking with you that is charged with the same energy as your altar can be placed back on your altar at the end of the day just to keep it charged and cleansed for that same purpose. It, lovers. Nothing too fancy. As you can see, I didn't use any kind of format or any kind of map for what an altar is supposed to look like. This is purely something that I wanted for myself. This is just how I want it to look and feel. I placed things that are important to me in this space that are pertaining to what the space is for. Everything in here is for love and for charging love and healing for myself. And I think that that's all you really have to do when you're creating an altar. This space will stay set up in my house always. This is just how it always is going to be. So when I feel like I need a little bit more love, or I want to meditate on love, I'll come to this space, I'll light an incense, maybe I'll draw a card, maybe I'll grab one of these crystals to hold while I sit and meditate with it, or anything like that. It's just something that stays permanent in my house. Every once in a while, you do need to clean and dust your sacred spaces because these are spaces that are promoting something that's important to you, and something that's important to you should always be tended to and stay clean. You should never let it get, busty or dusty or gross. It should be something that has a priority in your spiritual healing and growth. But very simple, permanent altar that you can have on top of your dresser, on top of a bookshelf, wherever it will be safe from people touching it, coughing on it. Okay. A couple more tips for doing magic while living with a bunch of distractions. Tell your partner when you're going into a spiritual mode what's going on. Don't be afraid to communicate with people and say, I need 15 minutes of quiet time. Could you take the child out for a couple of minutes, or could you walk the dog, or... So my cat just knocked down my tea and turned the music off simultaneously. Just let everyone in the house know that you're going into like a spiritual quiet place and you just need some time. Sometimes you can't even do that. So another tip is just to, sadly, wake up a little bit earlier than everyone else. Maybe you go to bed a little bit later than everyone else. You probably already do this anyway. If you're a parent or someone who takes care of a home, you have to get up a little bit earlier than anyone else. A, to have your coffee before anyone else does, and B, the camera's jiggling because my cat is pulling on it. There are loads of things going on all the time. But yeah, get up a little bit earlier, take your tea, your coffee, whatever, into that space where you're working on something, and just tend to your altar while you're there. Drink your cup, say your mantras, say your to-dos, write your to-do list for that day, work a little bit of magic in the morning before your day starts. Or after everybody else goes to sleep, which is like my personal favorite because they're asleep, I come back downstairs, I'll lay out my yoga mat, I'll start lighting all my candles, do a little bit of exercise, and then do meditation then. Another quick tip is to find a space in your house where people don't frequent very often. So maybe it's your laundry room or your basement or your attic. Don't be afraid to put your spiritual space or your altar somewhere weird. Having an altar in your bedroom is really nice, but then there's always going to be a point where you can't work on magic because your partner is sleeping, or they have something that they need to do and they need some quiet time, or you just want to be alone. You don't want anyone to look at you while you're like in your mode. So if you can find a space in your home that can just be for you. Another tip is to do a little bit of magic in your car. So for a long time, the only moments I had to myself were when I was driving to or coming home from work. So before you go to bed, set up a little ritual for yourself, and when you're going to work in the morning, take 15 minutes in the car to say your mantras or to do some spell work, and please be safe. Please be safe. I really think that finding little bits of time that you have to yourself are really great opportunities for you to do a little bit of magic, or just to set up your mind for magic. Just like with anything else, keeping a list of things that you want to do, what you want to buy, what you want to gather for spell work, and having that posted somewhere so you can see that every day. And so while you're living your hectic life, by the end of the month, you can have gathered all these little bits and pieces, and then have 15 or 20 minutes to yourself that you've already blocked out, that everyone knows about, that you need need that time to yourself. You need that time to yourself, and you're just going to be working on magic right now. I think that having altars high up that are permanent, having great communication with people in your household, and just taking 15 minutes before everyone wakes up or after they go to sleep, those are my 3 best practices for getting magic done. It's difficult. It's really hard when you have a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things to do, a lot of things to watch out for. I think having a permanent altar is like the ultimate way to squeeze magic into your day, into your crazy life when you can. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. If there are any other questions, go ahead and put them in the comment section below. It just makes me feel like we're growing a little family. So thank you guys so much for everyone who has subscribed, and have a beautiful, magical, less hectic than mine day.